So have you attempted to make this album before a few times?
I was trying to make, certain songs and stuff and what would make sense. And even when I was working on the stuff with Kennybeats, which eventually became Unlocked, I was trying to make some stuff for Melt then too. And even when it came down to, not even for Zoo, I had some whole other idea, but it wasn't Melt. None of that stuff was Melt. And even my cousin asked me, man, he was like, you think if the quarantine would have never happened, would you make Melt today? And to be honest with him, I was like, nah.
You'd have been still moving around, not
thinking.
Yeah.
It just would have been another title, another nameless album. It would have just been another album that I thought about creating.
So this is your magnus opus. Like this is my babies of babies. Yo, it's your boy Hakeem, and you are watching Our Generation Music. And man, I have a very, very, very special one for y'all today, man. My man, Denzel Curry.
What's good?
How we doing today, my boy?
Man, I'm chilling.
Man, you just played us, me and Saint the album, and insane, man.
I told you. Remember when we was doing the interview, I was like, man, I said me, Joey, who else was name? Shmino, Meech, Jid. I said all of us are gonna have the best, we gonna have the best albums of 2022. And I'm really stand behind that shit. But now that I played you the album, now we can finally
really talk about it.
Really talk about it.
That was dope too, man. That was a cool moment. It's still I still see that clip go viral. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, we did a vlog one day in Vegas. It was me, him, and Joey, and Shmino just talking shit, just talking about music and life and everything. And my mans wasn't lying, man. This some shit right here.
I told motherfuckers, bro, nobody wants to believe me. It's just that shit crazy. I don't know what it is with people, but they just be like, Denzel, good album? Hell nah. Damn. And then when it finally comes out, they be like, oh shit, it's a good album.
Yeah, this shit really fire. Niggas gotta stop sleeping, man. Y'all niggas gotta wake the fuck up.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh God, but I feel like you are for sure gonna wake niggas up with this for sure, because it was just so well put together. Everything was so very cohesive, and I really felt like what I got a lot from it was it was some man in the mirror shit. You was really looking at yourself. I feel like you're right now really thinking about everything.
Yeah, I mean, with the album, it basically was like that because in quarantine, when it first happened in 2020, right? Everybody had to be stuck in the house. There's a sickness going around. We don't know what the fuck it is. It's killing people left and right. This, that, and the third. We think it's the end of the world. And then, before that, people were praising me Denzel, you're this, Denzel, you're that. Oh, you're underrated. Or you this, that, and the third. But the moment the world shut down for one, when the whole world shut down, everything shut down. Nobody on the street. It was when nobody's telling you who you are, who are you?
Wow.
Who are you when nobody's telling you you're this person or this person, this person? Yeah. You kind of got to figure that out.
That outside validation is completely gone now.
Yeah, it was out.
It's crazy, man, because I felt you spoke a lot about that, validation, even girls and this and that, on the project. And it was I'm damn, this nigga's literally, if I was to visualize anything, it was just you're literally just looking in the mirror and just breaking yourself down, really going in deep with all your problems. You're talking about God, you're talking about suicidal thoughts, all types of shit, What made you want to get so personal on this album?
It was about that time, because this album was supposed to come out after Taboo. You know what I'm saying? I planned Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. That's the name of the album, so make sure you get that shit when it come out, or it's probably already out. I don't even know. But when I made the title and everything for the album and stuff like that, I planned this album 3 times, and for me to get this deep, it took a while. It took a lot of experiences that I had to go through. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that I had to see within. And I wasn't really seeing those things when I was touring and just being
constantly
around
on the move,
constantly on the move, being distracted by girls, by this, or being with the in crowd of niggas and doing all that shit. When I made this album, I was literally going through all the things that, that was not me and writing who I actually was. So when it comes down to thing, I remember your cameraman brought up the fact that I don't smoke and I don't drink, and I don't like. I smoked during the quarantine. Don't get me wrong.
You did?
I had to stop smoking. You know what I mean? Because I was getting addicted to the grabber leaf more than the weed.
Dang, you put that much grabber on your fucking shit?
Yeah, like I like my shit spicy.
Hot grabber. He's a real Florida man. Real hot grabber.
But it was that, drinking. It was like, can't really drink because, whatever. Like on special occasion maybe, but not as much.
I know you don't take me as a drinker.
Yeah, but my vice was women. My vice is women, to be honest with you.
What kind of women?
All kinds of women.
All of them?
Yeah. I got a girl, you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the one thing is, like, I had to put all my demons on Front Street. You get what I'm saying? And I felt like when I was really looking into myself and going to therapy and all these things, like, and that was the main thing, like, that throughout all the years, like, women has always been my vice. And that was the main thing I was trying to slow down on, And that's why I was like writing into a place where I'm getting vulnerable because like these are the things I actually do go through.
Yeah.
Like most people, you know what I'm saying? Most people are afraid to like admit like, oh, I'm this type of addict or this type of addict. Everybody's addicted to something.
So we all got our vices, our demons.
And me, it was just like, even when you hear walking, it's like I'm killing off my demons because my soul's worth a demon.
Yeah.
You feel me? And all of that stemmed from like just trauma, like just that was underlying trauma that I had to deal with as a child, So when I started making this album, I was doing therapy, I was doing martial arts, I was doing everything, and I was just like taking those sessions that I would have and I would write them down.
Yeah.
So that would be my main thing of like really like breaking through and like journaling these things.
Yeah, because walking feels like you hit like, you broke through that fourth wall. Like.
Yeah. I mean, with walking, it was just like, okay, I'm just going to bring you in. Mm-hmm. Because usually everybody, if I do it to a point where I'm like, oh, metaphor, bar, everybody going to be like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm done with this shit. I don't want to listen to this shit. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, you might scare the bitches.
You know what I'm saying? That's different. That's a different conversation. But when it comes down to this, I was just like, bro, I'm just gonna write about shit that's actually happening and give you a couple clever parts here and there, long as it's related. You feel what I'm saying? This whole thing wasn't about thinking. It was about feelings. The whole thing was about feelings because in therapy, that's what they teach you. It was about feelings. When you're angry all the time, it's because you're low-key sad. And then when you're sad, you're depressed. You know what I mean? So I wanted to explore all the emotions that I was actually having. And that's what I was doing with this project.
Yeah. No, it was very, very dope because like you're taking accountability on this project too.
Yeah.
You're speaking about, even mistakes and regrets. It was very dope to see. It's like, there's not a lot of albums right now that are like really like that. It feels like naked, like it's just the truth. Like,
it is the truth. And then when it comes down to my mistakes, I realize my mistakes aren't mistakes. My mistakes are bad choices. You know what I'm saying? So I don't make mistakes. I make bad choices. Everybody makes bad choices. Yeah. A mistake is, oh, I accidentally sent this file thinking it was this file. That's a mistake. Oh, I tripped over your foot. I didn't mean to scuff your shoe. That's a mistake. But majority of the things I was talking about was the choices that I made that were bad. So none of those were mistakes. I even said it on the Thundercat record. You know what I'm saying? Where it was just like feeling like you made a mistake. That's what you all chose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all make our choices, whether they're good or bad.
That's literally life. Like every day is a fucking.
It's a choice.
It's a fucking choice, man. It's really crazy, man. And I really love the honesty too. Like I really love the fact that you're honest, like where you are right now in your career. I feel like you feel like, yo, I gotta grow right now.
Yeah. Cause think about it, man. Like everything's gonna keep changing.
Yeah.
The world is gonna keep changing. People are gonna fight for different rights, and that's gonna change our views of the past. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Kanye West talking about Black History Month. Why do we have a Black History Month? It should be a Black Future Month because we're making history every day.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So things gonna keep changing. So if we change, we grow, and then we adapt to that change.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have to keep adapting. And then the reason why we have all these fights and wars and like disagreements because a lot of people refuse to change because they're so comfortable with what they have now. You know what I'm saying? And being uncomfortable allows you to grow.
Yeah.
So,
No.
of course, like when it comes down to this project, writing all this stuff out, it was allowing me to grow. Even me facing adversity. My mom said, whenever adversity comes your way, don't take it as like, oh man, this is a bad day, this, that, and the third. It may be a bad day, but you have to go through it because that's how you grow. And once you grow, it's because you learned something.
Yeah.
If you don't learn something, you get burned in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're supposed to learn that lesson.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, and you're not gonna really like advance and move on in life if you're not handling these things that you need to do. Like people want to get to certain places, but it's like, bro, you got to handle all this before you can get over there. And even if you don't handle all this before you get over there, you might get over there and it really gonna fuck your whole shit up now because like, bro, you're supposed to learn this to, handle this situation.
Right.
And I really want to really talk about these beats because they're fucking crazy. Like, and what I loved about it too. It just gives me such a true traditional hip hop, just vibe. Like everything about it is traditional. I only think I heard maybe 808s maybe 3 times.
Yeah, you can literally count it.
Yeah, like only like 3 times I think I heard like 808s on it. And that's very like with the sound that it is now, like you as an artist, like was that like a risk for you feel like?
What this project?
Yeah, to like not go with what everything sounds like.
My project's always been like that though. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody was making the same type of stuff, Imperial sounded crazy and just like, full of energy. When everybody started doing that, I started straying away from it. You know what I'm saying? Because the things I was doing, like back in the day when it come down to my music, was to separate me. Nostalgic, all that stuff that was on there was supposed to separate me from what everybody else was doing. Imperial, everything that I was doing on that project was to separate me from what everybody else was doing. Even when it came down to Taboo, everything that I was doing, it fit with the times, but everything that I was doing on that project was supposed to separate me from what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what goes for this project as well. Of course, I'm going to add a couple things with 808s because that's where I came from. I'm from the South, like.
Because, you and Ronnie J, like, y'all, when I think of Denzel Curry, I'm thinking of that turnt, like, shit about to start shaking. You gonna... No pun intended, we joking around, but scared the hoes a little bit.
But the thing about scaring the hoes, you brought that shit up twice. But like,
so we gotta joke about it.
We gotta joke about it. But look, my music was scaring women away. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just didn't want to make a project where women could not vibe to. Like, if you go to my show, it's nothing but males, particularly white males. Can't even front. The only time I got women to come to my shows is when I started to sing a little bit. Like Clock Cobain, I started to sing a little bit. It started coming. Black Balloons, I was singing on there with 12 Lynn. Shout out to 12. And girls started coming to the show when I started hearing the songs that I was actually singing on.
Yeah.
And with this project, I didn't want it to be like rapidy rap, anger, this, that, and the third. Like, nah, then it shows that I did not grow. I did not learn nothing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it's not just one thing, because each of those projects that I had was like one emotion. Like Imperial, I was angry. With Taboo, I was sad. With Zoo, I was homesick. With this one, it was just like self-discovery, flaws and everything.
Yeah.
Shit I gotta work on. This album isn't being like, oh, I recognize my flaws, now I'm a perfect person.
Yeah.
It's more like, I recognize my flaws and I'm working through them.
And working towards being a
working
better
towards
person.
being a better person. I can't be perfect. But long as I progress to be something better than I was years ago or even yesterday, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Long as I evolve with what's going on eternally. And I feel like anybody could resonate with that. You feel me? A lot of the songs on here, I want it to be sung. I want everybody to sing it. It doesn't matter if you're a male, female, or non-binary. I want you to fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to force you to fuck with it either. I'm just going to put it into a way where you can mess with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's something for everybody on there.
100%. And that's what I like, because, like, you get so, like, as much as it, like, you have traditional, hip-hop in it and, the from the drums and everything, like, I felt like it was just so all over the place in all different times in hip-hop, with that type of style.
Right.
Which was, I really want to know, though, too, like, how you went about picking all the people that, gave the sound for it.
Well, it started with just my favorite albums. You know what I'm saying?
What
And the
other favorite
albums that I were studying. So my favorite albums are different than the albums that I studied to make this album.
Okay.
So the albums that I studied were D'Angelo's Voodoo, Erykah Badu, Mama's Gun, The Roots, Things Fall Apart. That was the first album. And Kanye West's Graduation. And with little stuff in between, like stuff from Kid Cudi, you know? Stuff from Nas's Illmatic. Like I want a DJ Premier to be on this album. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking crazy.
Even Kendrick Lamar played like Kendrick Lamar albums because he never makes a bad album. I study people that don't make bad albums, you know? And I just picked the people that I wanted for this album, you know? And when it came down to me picking the people, it was just like I wanted to go for a certain sound. But I had the genres already picked out from years ago that I wanted to do. So I wanted to trap. Like, matter of fact, hey, can you pass me my phone? Yep. I could read you all the genres I wanted to experiment with.
On this project.
Yeah, I'm finna show you right now. The genres I wanted to experiment with, excuse my language. It was September 2nd, 2018 at 10:36 a.m. I wrote the first draft of Melt My Eyes. And the genres was acid jazz, trip hop, R&B, jazz, boom bap, drum and bass, jungle, funk, neo soul, dance hall, punk, and synth pop. Those were the genres I wanted to do for this album, and I got majority of them down. You know, you heard some jazz, you heard boom bap, you heard drum and bass, you heard jungle, you heard funk because Thundercat, you heard neo soul on there, and that was like the track that you said you like, Mental. Yeah. Trip hop, which is what you got from
what's my man?
From Zadarichi.
Yes.
And what you got from JPEG Mafia's record, you know? And those were like the genres I wanted to do. And I wrote this in September of 2018 while I was on tour.
So why did it take you so long to make this? Why do you feel like it took that many years to, because we're in 2022
It was just, I wasn't ready to make this. Yo, hold this, man. Yeah. It's just, I wasn't ready to make this album. I planned this album out like 3 times.
So have you attempted to make this album before a few times?
I was trying to make, you know, certain songs and stuff and what would make sense. And even when I was working on the stuff with Kennybeats, you know, like, which eventually became Unlocked, I was trying to make some stuff for Melt then too. And even when it came down to, not even for Zoo had some whole other idea, but like, it wasn't Melt. None of that stuff was Melt. And even my cousin asked me, man, he was like, you think if the quarantine would have never happened, would you make Melt today? And to be honest with him, I was like, nah.
You'd have been still moving around, not
thinking.
Yeah.
You know, it just would have been another title, another nameless album. You know, it would have just been another album that I thought about creating.
So this is your magnus opus. Like this is my babies of babies.
Yeah. I remember when I when I was first talking about this album, man, I remember I talked to Shafiq Hassan. You know who Shafiq Hassan is?
I do not.
Shafiq Hassan, he works with Sarah. He also works with Erykah Badu, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember I called him when I was in Palestine, and I was telling him about Melt My Eyes, and he was like, "Oh, you trying to make your magnum opus?" And I was like, "What is that?" And then he was like, "You know, your best album, your best work. That's your magnum opus." You know, so I wanted him to be a part of this shit too. But that was like way back when I first had the idea of making Melt My Eyes, See a Future, you know? And just experimenting with all these types of different sounds. These are sounds that I grew up on.
Yeah, it's the origins. It's what made you love what you're doing, you know? It's dope for me too to see you work with someone I think that's so criminally underrated, Eyez. Like, she is one of the most talented. She's just amazing, man. Like, we gotta all tap into Eyez more. I love her.
Listen to Eyez. Eyez is the shit,
man.
And she born on my birthday, so you know she the GOAT.
So, how did you go about, you know, picking these features and who you wanted to bring in to, you know, help with this, getting this vision out?
On the real, I didn't even want features for this album.
So what made it happen?
What made it happen was, some of the songs was so hard that they had to go on there, you know? The only feature To be honest with you, the only feature was gonna be T-Pain. Like rap feature, like to have a verse.
Yeah.
T-Pain. Everybody else had to do a hook if they wanted to be on this album.
Yeah, and I loved that T-Pain record because it was just like you were talking about, you know, the early days of you trying to get it. You were very reflective in that, and then out of nowhere you hear T-Pain on the hook. I'm like, oh, that's fire, but it works because a lot of people be trying to make a T-Pain song work in 2022, and I feel like it doesn't connect as much because it's like they don't understand the worlds right now, and you just bridge these two worlds, which was crazy.
I mean, we just gave him an open verse and he just slaughtered it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like, oh, he gave me T-Pain. He gave me fucking pain. Like he gave me T-Pain that everybody knows.
I was like, damn, this shit he could have done this years ago.
Like T-Pain is the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's. I grew up listening to him, man. Rapper turned singer. Even his mixtapes. I brought up a song to him like Boogeyman.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh shit, you know that? You know that song? And I was like, nigga, I grew up listening to you, dog. And then I brought up another song where he it was like Pop Pop. He did like a version of CeeLo Green's song. It was what song is that? Child's Play. Mm-hmm. He did his version of CeeLo Green's Child's Play, and that song I can't find it to this day, but like that song is so hard, man.
Yeah, no, T-Pain's hard as hell. Like I feel like people like they'll probably like be in the studio and be like, oh, we should get T-Pain on this, and then it's like, bro, this is not the song that you get T-Pain on, you know? Like, what you did, it was just like, I was like, damn, T-Pain was supposed to be on this song.
That is true.
He delivered for sure, man.
He killed that shit. I jumped out of my seat when he sent that verse back. I was like, oh, shit. But I got self-conscious because I'm like, damn, should I redo my verse?
But it's not a singy song because, like, I think people were just, like, trying to throw some singy shit on there, and it's just like, nah, this shit hard as hell, nigga. Like,
yeah. Because people were like, T-Pain's on the Denzel Curry album. How is that going to sound? Because everybody think is, like, and I'm like, bro, no.
No.
Not this time. Not this time. Any other time. But this one, nah.
We're not doing that.
None of that.
Another crazy thing, too, like, as far as just, like, people featured on the album and everything, Rico, Black, Josiah, Jid, and Buddy, all on one song.
Yeah.
We gotta really get into that. How did you put this together? Where did it start from?
To be honest with you, bro, that shit happened completely randomly. Mm-hmm. And it was one of the best sessions I've ever been in. Cause look, it went like this. I went to the studio to go work with my homie Sean K, and we were both working on Josiah's project, right? Mm-hmm. So he was working on the song, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna pull up. I pulled up, and he was playing a song, and at first I wasn't gonna write to it. At all. And then I did the intro for it, and he was like, yo, you ain't gonna get on this? And I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm finna go outside and write it. Mm-hmm. So I went outside and I was writing my verse and everything for it, right? And while I'm writing, Rico Nasty, like, gets out of her session, you know what I'm saying? She walks out to another guy's session, which was next door, and there's a couch, and I was sitting on the couch right next to the door she went up to. And then it's like, hey, yo, can you give me some help? Like, that's how Rico was talking. I was like, what the fuck? I know this voice. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's Rico. Mm-hmm. Yo, Rico. She looked down finally. She was like, oh, shit, Denzel. So we chopping it up and shit. I'm like, yo, what's good? Yo, you know Josiah, da-da-da. She's like, oh, shit, Josiah's here? So she goes in there, her and Josiah chopping it up. I'm showing them how to use the collie sticks and shit. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we started recording. I did my verse, and then Rico said, y'all could pull up to our session, da-da-da, this, that, and third. So we go in there. She do her verse, and as soon as we're in this session, right, she calls Jid. She's like, I'm gonna call Jid. Jid was like, all right, I'm pulling up. Me and Sean called Powers. It was like, Powers, you gotta get to this session. Jid pulls up, Black is with him, and also Kitty Cash. Like, all three of them pulled up together. So we like, oh shit, okay. And then he was like, yo, I'm gonna call Buddy. Later on, Buddy pulls up. And it was just crazy.
I just love that because it's just so organic how that song came together. It's just literally like it's like all our friends like meet at one spot with the bike type shit. You know how like when we were growing up, it was just like, yo, we know where everybody's at because you see all the skateboards or the bikes there. Yeah, and you know it's a good day, man.
And we were just in that session, and you know we did Art of War, finished that song for Josiah, And we started playing beats, and then I don't know what, like we heard the Ain't No Way beat, and Josiah going crazy like ain't no way, because we was freestyling and shit, and it was like ain't no way, and that was him. And then Jid just turned into Quincy Jones out of motherfucking nowhere. He was like, oh shit, that sound fire. You go in there, go lay that shit down.
So he was really directing it.
He directed the whole shit. Josiah goes in there, lays down ain't no way, does that. He was like, Black, you need to go in there, go do a hook. He's like, ain't no way, niggas don't doubt me after this. So Black is singing. And I was like, man, this shit's coming together crazy. And then like, he was like, man, I got you. Rico, write your verse. He was like, told Rico, write her verse. Boom, 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 boom. She write her verse. And he was like, oh, you got it done? Go in there. Go do that shit. Denzel, what you want to do? And then I'm just like, nigga, long as I get on the song, I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, I bet. So he writes his verse like, ain't no way I ain't gonna Shawshank from out the shit. He goes in, lays it down. He comes out. I'm writing on the couch, chopping it up with David Ali and them. And he was like, what you got? So I spit my verse, ain't no way, yes the way I'm living out my final days. I feel like Jay, chocolate flowing through me. Like, so I'm spitting a verse. So he was like, oh shit, that's it. Yo, go in there. And then I do my verse. Then after that, I get out Black Light, bro, you barred up. Like, so, and then motherfucking Black, Buddy goes in there. He's like, we need you to lay these O's down, because they did it in Jizz verse, and then they did it at the end, like the and it's on the hook as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they was following suit. And that's how that song came about. Then we went to go work on it, and at first it was gonna go to Rico, but Rico didn't want it. Then it was gonna go to Powers. But Powers couldn't clear everybody. Then the last option
was the best. It worked out.
And I was just like, how the fuck am I gonna clear all this shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? I knew everybody else. It was just like, damn, how am I gonna clear Black? You know, this is our first time working together. You know what I'm saying? But we known each other for years. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, this is the first record I have with Black. So I thought it wasn't gonna happen, because I didn't know who was what and what the moving pieces were. But they just made sure that shit got through. Black recut his hook, and it ended up being on the album.
And it's just hard as hell, man. It's just like, it just feels like a constant moving evolution. Like, it's just evolving and evolving and evolving. Yeah. I also thought one of the dope parts on it was the poetry that you put on. It's Saul, what's his name?
Saul Williams.
Saul Williams. Super dope, man. What made you want to incorporate some, real poetry on the album?
I mean, I'm a poet. Like, I started off as a poet, you know what I'm saying? And just growing up, like listening to Def Poetry Jam, I would love hearing Saul Williams do Decoded. It was a poem. It's called Decoded something, but goddamn, he did that. He did Amethyst Rocks for this movie called Slam, and then he did a poem where he was like, I am that nigga, I am that nigga, I am that nigga, I am that Negro, yes Negro from Necro. That means it was like so much shit that he was saying, bro.
I gotta go check that out. That sounds like shit.
Yeah, bro. He's the man. And I remember just being at Electric Lady, and if you know what Electric Lady is, that's where they recorded Voodoo, Mama's Gun, and Things Fall Apart.
Okay.
So a very soul-querying studio, and they also recorded
the energy in there.
Yeah, I wanted to if I was gonna mix the album, I wanted it to be there. So we was just there, and then I remember we was listening to the Mental and stuff, and there's no second verse, but I was like, who would sound good? I was like, who would sound good on this? And Mark, my manager, he was like, who? And I was like, Saul Williams. He was like, what? And then my other manager, Reese, was like, oh, Saul Williams? Oh, I fuck with Saul Williams. He knew what was up, and he put Mark on game. So they reached out to Saul, and Saul did it. No hesitation.
That's amazing, man. That's dope to see, because I don't think I've heard poetry on an album in a long time, like a very, very long time. I think the last time I personally remember was either Kendrick's, Kanye, back to all the people that make no bad albums.
Yeah, these guys are genius levels, and I'm just trying to follow suit. Like, like if you look at my discography, it's impressive because none of those albums are like bad, and majority of them are critically acclaimed. And I just wanted to make something that was true to me, you know.
Yeah.
Like, because everything else, I'm not saying everything else that I did in the past wasn't true to me. It was just true to me at that time. But what's true to me now is this.
Yeah. And one of the things that stuck out to me was when you brought up, you know, Pac, Mac, and Big, and, you know, just, you know, when they left this earth.
Yeah. You know, Pac ain't make it, it was, damn.
Pac was 25?
No. Mac ain't make it to 27. Pac ain't make it to 26. And Big ain't make it to 25. I made it past all those. You know what I'm saying? So it just made me want to stay focused because we could die at any time. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I just watched people who was at their like prime get, you know, die for whatever reason. And you know how that all that shit turned out, you know?
Yeah.
I just can't be one of those, like, of what could have been.
Yeah, the untold stories of... It's crazy, man. Life is a very crazy thing. You're always, back to decisions and choices, you're always one decision away from even
making a fatal mistake.
Fatal. Like, it's crazy. Like, fucking some Final Destination shit could happen. Like, all time. That was a crazy movie, bro. Why were we watching that?
Oh, man, I would never want to watch that again.
Again, like...
It was just like, a bunch of random shit would just randomly happen. And it's just like, nah.
Why did we make that a thing? Because like now it's just like I can't even ingest certain drama shit like that. Like why do I want to put this in my life and in my mental thought? Like, nigga, hell no. Like,
because it's just like random ways to die. Like, that shit look crazy.
Remember
like,
the 1,000 Ways to Die show?
Oh yeah, I remember that shit. I remember goddamn, there was one where a guy was a bodybuilder / boxer by day, and that night he was like a drag queen, and then the guy then some random dude tried to rob him and shit, and then he turns around, he's like, I ain't no lady. And
he socked the nigga.
Yo, he socked the dude, and the guy died from the impact of the punch.
Wow, it's crazy too. Like, you really could hit somebody
that hard and they'll
die. Like, fights. It's crazy, man. Fights are a crazy thing, man, because, like, yo, I remember the homies, like, we were on Melrose and was always getting into shit. And he's like, yo, y'all gotta chill, nigga. You hit somebody the wrong time, it's over. Now you, like, in jail, like.
For life.
For a fight. And you're like,
but that was justified. A guy tried to rob him thinking he was a lady. And like, I ain't no lady.
Bitch. This is like on the nigga, man.
Get your ass down.
There's a lot of, you know, so many layers to this album, you know. There was the instrumentation, just like everything. Also, everything was going into each other. Like, it was just like the story just kept going. One of the things I really love too is the videos, man. Like the two videos, it's so cinematic. You know, I feel like fucking Quentin Tarantino shot them motherfuckers.
Man, I wanted to feel like, see, look, when you say this movement, right? That's the thing when it came down to this album. Because when people would come to the studio, I would play them two videos. One, Pitchfork's little documentary on Soulquarians, and number two was Akira Kurosawa's composing movement. And if you don't know who Akira Kurosawa is, for all of y'all that don't know, because I know y'all ain't into nerd shit, but I'm gonna put you on game today. If it wasn't for this nigga, we wouldn't have Star Wars, Good and the Bad and the Ugly, Magnificent Seven. We wouldn't have none of those shits because all his movies pretty much inspired the rest of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have none of that if it wasn't for Akira Kurosawa.
Shout out that nigga, because I love Star Wars.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, when it came down to movement, I wanted the music to move, and I wanted my videos to move as well. It, like, just pretty much move and cut on certain scenes and move a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And even when it came down to, like, certain things, like, if you watch Zatoichi, like, it was raining in one of the shots. I remember they wanted to pack the cameras up. I was like, no, fuck that. We need that. You know what I'm saying? And in Akira Kurosawa films, they use the elements a lot because even if everybody stands still, the elements would keep it moving.
Yeah.
So,
nah, that was something I picked up on though. I'm like, damn, like it really feels like you was really, like, really telling a story. Like, yo,
I wanted to feel like I was actually in the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was actually in the trenches. You know. So,
where were you shooting these videos too? These locations are crazy.
Peru.
Nigga, you flew to Peru? Hey, that's hard.
I flew to Peru.
That's hard.
And that was like a humbling experience, man. You know, Peruvians, I love them. Y'all love Peruvians, man.
Food is fire too.
Food is great.
Food is literally amazing. I want to know, like, what your overall goals are with this project, like if you have any, or it's just like, yo, I finally got this out. Like, are you looking at awards, and are you looking
Hell
at?
yeah.
You want all that?
It's not even all that. I want people. It doesn't matter who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to enjoy my music. That's one. And two,
Mm-hmm.
give me them damn Grammys. Stop sleeping on me. Stop that shit. That shit is over. It's been 10 years, bitch. It's over. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it. It's like, there's a little bit of frustration there, but I'm like so confident in my work, just for somebody to be like, oh, this ain't good. Maybe it just ain't for you. That doesn't mean it ain't good. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just be like, you know, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. But since I'm sensitive, I use that to my advantage because I'm like, yo, I just want people to feel where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, most people get lost in translation because it's either too hard on their ears or I'm not saying, like, getting direct to the point, or basically it's like, oh, they don't like the beat or whatever. I'm trying to get to, like, this album, I got to a place where I'm making it super easy for you to understand me now.
Yeah, it's very easily digestible. And yeah, the Grammys, man, it's crazy because, like,
I'm calling it. I'm definitely gonna win a Grammy off this. And if I don't, I'm gonna be Grammy nominated. And that's just as good.
it's very just as good. Shout out. It's still crazy. You remember that Macklemore shit? Like, that's like the most every time the Grammys pop up, it's like the most haunting shit. Like, why did y'all give Macklemore that Grammy over Kendrick? Like,
Yeah.
that is,
You know why.
Yeah, but that is.
You ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah, but
because
that's crazy.
I want to win a Grammy myself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna keep it quiet for a little bit. Might cut that out.
I just want to be one of the people, like, out of Miami-Dade County. You get what I'm saying? I know people won Grammys out of Dade County, but, like, I'm just specifically out of Carrot City that be like, hey, he got a Grammy. That's crazy, you know?
Yeah. I want to know too, like, were you writing this album? Like, did you go about it differently? Like, were you punching? You're a writer.
Yeah, I know. I wrote this. This whole thing, I wrote it. Whole thing. And the way I went about it was, instead of being like words, like, I'm not gonna hit people with like a billion words and then no feeling behind them, no, you know what I'm saying? No kind of drive behind them. It was the opposite. I knew if I felt the song, they gonna feel the song because that feeling is gonna come out on that track.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was the rule within the studio. If you feel it, you fuck with it.
Okay.
It's like, if you don't feel it, don't even waste your time with it.
How many songs were cut? Were you constantly working on songs and making them better? Because, you said you studied, the ones that never made any bad albums. And Kanye's like that. He'll just have like 10 songs and he's constantly elevating, constantly bringing those songs to its best form. Or did you cut like 20 records and then pick the best from there?
It was like I was making record after record after record after record after record. And then it was just like seeing how they fit within the album in its pre-stages. And once I got it to a good spot, I started showcasing it to other producers who want to get a part of it, which is another thing. The producers are really the features on this. It's not even the rappers. Like, I seen the producers as like the real feature. Forget like what the nigga rapping about, Without the producer, you don't got no soundscape.
Yeah, and you got some heavy hitters on here, man. You got some really dope people, and you also went back. Worked with Kennybeats. You and Kenny got the song with T-Pain. What does Kennybeats bring out of you as an artist?
Man, that motherfucker, he's a producer, man. It's like it's like we're both energetic people,
Yeah.
It's like too much energy. He's like, yo, just go in there and just go do what you gotta do. Like, that's what Kenny be doing and shit. And I'd be like, what the fuck you want me to do, Kenny? Like, And Kenny be like, yo, just go in there and just rap. Just do it. Like,
You sound like him right there.
like, I go in there and just rap the whole time, And what Kenny brings out of me, he get, when I do a line, he'll be like, yo, that bar is fire. And he'll be like, oh, I don't know about that bar. Try some other shit. Like, he gets me to think about better bars within my stuff.
He's
like,
challenging.
He's very challenging. But he's challenging me because we're both trying to make the best product.
It's not from a different place. It's a place of really the work.
Yeah. Even when we made Unlocked, he was challenging me to do the same thing. And a lot of those were drafts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those songs were drafts. We just made a whole EP around those drafts.
Unlock was crazy, man. Even the visuals for it, man. To the T, bro. The video's crazy.
Yeah, like us trying to get the files back inside the internet, that was all my idea.
That was so dope, man. That was so dope. How much are you involved in the creative process with like treatments and just the visuals? Like, you have a team or?
I'm hella involved. I just tell them, I just put images from YouTube that matches closely to the song, and what I see, put it together, give it to my management. This is what I want. This is what it looks like in my mind. Find somebody to do it. And I was looking for a nerd, you know what I'm saying? And then Adrian Villagonez is that nerd. Don't get me wrong. He's not a bad thing. I'm a nerd.
Nerds are great. I'm a nerd. We all nerd about something.
You know what I'm saying? We all nerds. Motherfuckers pick on nerds. Just be happy these nerds is making you iPhones and not shooting up your school. Just like
that's full bars.
Like G shit.
It could be way crazier. Shout out I got a new iPhone.
Exactly. A nerd made that.
You know, God.
Like most people celebrate being dumb as fuck. Like, but they want to use nerd shit. Man,
it's one of my favorite memes is that meme of the nerd and the bad bitch, and then she goes with the gangster dude, and then it's like 5 years later she has the baby, and then the gangster dude he's just like has the money now. He's like, now you want me, bitch. Like, shit is fucking comedy, bro. Every time I see it, I gotta repost it because it's so funny. Man, this project was really dope, man. Like, it was very, very cohesive. I haven't really heard a project like this in a while. I feel like a lot of projects nowadays are just songs, just a whole bunch of songs. It's like a playlist, you know? It's just like a whole bunch of songs, but it's like, yo, I got a story from this. I got a visual. Like, I seen something, you know? I seen you look in the mirror. Like, that's what I'm like, okay, this man is like really looking at himself. Like, you know, what have you been listening to besides your own work, you know? Cause
basically like the Seatbelts. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
No, I'm down for some new music though.
Well, there's this group called the Seatbelts, and they did the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. Yoji, like Yuji Ono. Like, I listen to a lot of Japanese jazz, like Yuji Ono and Masa Matsuda.
Okay.
Like, that's pretty dope. Listen to like Kid Cudi's old stuff. Like,
we about to get a Kid named Cudi on DSPs.
You know, a Kid named what? That's going on DSPs?
Yeah.
When?
I think soon. I don't know, but I saw them reporting on it. That's a classic banger.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Like, the drums on there, like, and the drums on your project, it just represented so many different times of just like that, you know, that hip hop sound, that true hip hop sound. It wasn't just like 90s Illmatic or this and that. No, it was like traveling. It was like, okay, this sounds like this sounds like that. It was just so dope. I feel like I was in a fucking time machine too. Like, just hearing all those, man, even the one we was talking about the one that it sounds like a train was moving. Like,
oh, you talking about
the
Angels.
the groove on that was crazy.
Yeah, that's Kareem Riggins, who worked a lot with a lot of the Soulquarian stuff too.
Bro, insane, man. How does it feel because, you know, 2018, you wrote the note down, you had the idea. Now it's here. It's alive.
It's not alive yet. When I give it to the world, that's when it truly becomes alive. It's like incubating. Like, this due date is approaching. So, you know, it's just like, that's like, it's going to be alive when everybody else get to hear it and understand where I'm coming from. And that's going to be a special day.
Are you nervous at all about it?
Hell no. The reason why, because I'm confident in everything on that. I told everybody there's no skips. There's none. You know what I'm saying? There's no skips whatsoever.
When I listened to it, I couldn't imagine just listening to it like choosing a song. I was like, yo, nah, I got to listen to this whole thing. You're trying to tell me something.
Yeah, but it's not even just telling you something. It's just like, I want you to just feel where I'm coming from. Like, just feel me. Just understand this is who I am. I'm not, like, scratch all the facades and shit. Like, this is who I am as a person.
The growth of Denzel. You growing the hair back, though.
Oh, yeah. The wig's got to be back. I even said it on the track. I was like, I'm I'm too dedicated like I'm Wayne in '06, but the only thing missing is the motherfucking Wicks. So I grew it out. And you know I'm from Florida, so.
It's a staple, man.
Yeah.
It's a staple. I want to get back into some anime shit, because you know, Cowboy Bebop is one of your fave. What else are you watching, man?
Well, I was watching Samurai Champloo. I was watching The God of High School for a minute.
Okay.
I was watching, of course I watched One Punch Man, but mainly the stuff I was watching was Cowboy Bebop.
When making this album?
And like a little bit of Gundam, you know.
My God.
Like Gundam Wing.
Such a beautiful show, man.
And that's what inspired like the fonts that I was using for the covers, like the covers of Walk-In and Zatoichi. It was Gundam.
So you're about to go on the tour. Mike Dimes, Red Veil, Kenny Mason, and I'm not sure if I'm saying Play That
Boys A.
Play That Boys A. That's a hard name. That's a hard fucking name. What made you choose them to, you know, accompany you and give a good experience?
Well, because they're they're talented young men, and I want to see them do the best that they could do, you know what I'm saying, flourish. Because every time we on tour, like, I don't want to be the nigga to be like, oh, we gotta hold you back. You can't use no like fucking no projections on my tour because it's gonna make you look good. Like, man, fuck that shit. Like, I see artists do that shit, and that shit be whack as fuck. Yeah. So I just want them to be the best what they could be, because if they're at their best, they're gonna put me at my best, and it'll just be a great tour.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, man, there's people that love, you know, them first two niggas that come out, like me. I love to see who, you know, saying somebody random on the shit that I've never seen before, and I pull up. I go early to shows. I'm an early show nigga. Like, I'm gonna pull up early. I'm gonna go see whoever else this person is. Like, I might go listen to it online, but it's like, it's dope to see some new shit, you know, live and in person. Like, niggas be like trying to go to the shows late. I'm calling out all the homies that be going to the shows late, trying to go late. Let's go see the openers. I don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
Before we close it out and everything, your freshman class, you know, people talk about it a lot as one of the best freshman class, and it's about to come up again and everything. I really want to know just your thoughts on looking back on that.
Every single last one of them, including designer, are legends. I don't give a fuck what anybody say.
100%, man.
They're all talented. They're all gangster. You know what I'm saying?
That freestyle, that shit, is it crazy? It goes
you know what I'm
viral.
saying? G Herbo's raw. Dave East is raw. Designer's raw. Kodak is raw. Who
21.
else? 21. Uzi, Yachty. Did I say G Herbo already?
Yeah, we said Herbo. We'll bring him back twice.
Who else is on there? Anderson .Paak.
Yep.
Dog. It was a great class, man.
Very dope.
And all of them are doing their thing, you know. Everybody's doing something, like Kodak popping, you feel me? Uzi popping, 21 like crazy, he's like superstar, you know. Lil Yachty, he's still out here, you know what I'm saying? I'm still out here.
Yeah.
What they call it? Anderson .Paak is like drumming and working with Dr. Dre and doing all this crazy shit.
Super Bowl, man.
Super Bowl, he just did a Super Bowl. Who else? Designers out here snapping. I know people be shitting on him and shit, and I don't like that shit because he actually is raw. Like, if you listen to his new shit, just give it a chance, bro. Yeah. It's pretty
I feel like it's being an artist is so, like, in these times, it's so crazy. It's so hard to do, because I know earlier, like, you know, you talking about going to therapy and everything. I'm a big advocate for artists having therapists, bro, because it's like people are so fickle, like, these days, and you know, we get so much music and people are constantly trying to move on to the next thing and just move on. And it's just like, damn, like, you got to think about these artists too. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. It's like, so what's next? What's next? They just want to milk you out of you, and then when you're done,
throw you to the fucking
side and find another you and just keep it pumping.
It's fucking horrible, man. We got a lot of work to do, man. Like, it's not cool at all. I personally, like me, like, I love, you know, listening to bodies of work, whether it is a whole bunch of it's a playlist or whatever. But I do love that you right now are, you know, you got me excited to really sit down and listen to a whole thing. Like, yo, this is dope. It feels like I'm in my bedroom as a fucking kid again, you know? You brought me back to that place.
Thanks. I'm glad I did, because when I said I was going to make the best album, everybody doubted me straight up, like, until they see it. So soon as it come out, I'm going to shut a lot of people the fuck up. But at the same time, I want them to shut up, but I don't want them to shut up. I want them to keep talking.
Yeah.
Because you know, they gotta keep talking. Just keep talking, whether you like it or hate it. Like me or don't like me.
Yeah.
Talk about me. I don't give a fuck. And I know you got a way that you end off your interviews.
Yeah, we ask you what's your message for our generation and everything. But if Denzel Curry wants to end, I'm just playing. You can't end it. We usually do this to close it out and everything. What's your message for our generation?
The message for our generation is, man, you talk about our generation?
Yes, our generation.
Just be you, man. That's always gonna be my message. Just be you. I'm an advocate for being you, like regardless of what it is, and accept yourself. You know, a lot of y'all don't accept yourself because another person don't accept you. You feel me? Figure out what's wrong with you, and you know, you do that soul search yourself and keep going. You know, once you figure that out and you figure out what your flaws is and what your strong suits is, you could make your disadvantages your advantages. So when it comes down to everything and the way you end things, that's how I'm gonna end it for you, and this is how I'm gonna end it for me. If you don't like me, if you don't like my music, or never gave my music a chance, now is the time. Go in there, because I guarantee you're gonna be a fan. If you gave my music a chance, and you left my music for whatever reason, you're gonna become a Denzel Curry fan again. That's how I'm leaving off of it.
You heard it here first, man. Stop playing with him.
Don't play with me, man.